Bam! Okay, so today is going to be an interesting day because I'm going to talk about the thyroid. And we need to talk about it again because there's all of this concern that doing a ketogenic protocol can compromise your thyroid. So is that true? Well, yeah, kind of. Ketogenesis can compromise somebody's thyroid gland or the way the thyroid functions to keep your body in balance when you do the wrong application of a ketogenic protocol. So can people with hypothyroidism, hyperthyroidism, and Hashimoto's, can you all do a ketogenic protocol? Yes, absolutely. So let's kind of talk about some of the aspects of what you need to be careful for when you're trying a ketogenic protocol and what's the correct application, right? So you have the thyroid gland. It's going to regulate your metabolism, your temperature. And essentially, when you guys eat poorly and you go up and you crash and you go up and you crash, then your adrenal glands have to take over because every time your freaking ass crashes, your body has to find the energy from somewhere to keep going throughout the day. And we do this to all the systems of our body. We do carbohydrates and we slam our glucose up and our insulin up and our pancreas is like bleh with all this insulin, and then the signaling doesn't work and more insulin is getting into the bloodstream, but the energy is not getting into the cells, and so you feel tired even though your blood sugar is high, and it's kind of weird. I know. Then we have the thyroid, which also does the same damn thing. So if you've got these super high levels of T3, well, that's problematic because perhaps with your free T3, if it's rising and rising and rising, is that T3 getting into the receptor, the catcher's mitt, so it can get into the cell for energy. And so there's different things that you need to think about because I don't care how many people I talk to, they're like, oh yeah, I've done a thyroid test and I'm fine. And I'm like, really? Really? I just love conventional wisdom, right? People walk out the door completely screwed up with celiac disease, gluten issues, milk issues, dairy issues, adrenal issues, and if you have adrenal fatigue, they're telling you that you're depressed, and here's like Prozac. And people are like, am I going nuts? People got anxiety. And then when you have thyroid, they first don't believe you. They think that you're lazy often because they do a standard thyroid stimulating hormone test, the TSH test, and when the numbers come back normal and within range, they send you out the door. You're like, you're fine. And then these people talk to me in my consultations and tell me I'm fine. But yet and still, their eyebrows are thinning, their hair is shedding, they get like cold, or they like get freezing if it's like cold water. Ah! You know, or the skin gets super dry, or they get super constipated. I mean, they're tired, all this stuff, the list goes on and on, or loose stool. So you're like, okay. So don't go walk around the planet, even if you don't have the extreme thyroid symptoms, just the one of feeling super tired, you need to raise an eyebrow. You know, don't just go by what conventional wisdom says or blood tests say, because blood values always change and tests can be subjective. So don't listen to your body with the old ear, because the old ear is in denial. Listen to your body with a new, acute ear to understand what's going on with the body. So as you guys can see, I've been in ketosis for 8 years solid, and it just gets better. That means that 8 years without any sugar, refeeding. Somebody said like, oh, but fruit has sugar and you eat fruit. And I was like, well, I'm glad you're telling me what I eat. But I digress. Here we go. But then I'm like, hello, avocados, freaking tomatoes, we got your Olive Garden types, we got your citrus in the form of lemons and coconut. These are all fruits, people. Y'all are more fruits than the fruits. But here we go. With the thyroid, you guys gotta really pay attention to how tired you are. That's really an obvious symptom. And then constipation or loose stool. And so now we've got this thyroid, and we've got to check for things like, you know, if you're if your thyroid, let's say with the thyroid stimulating hormone, when it's really, 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 really high, that's also problematic. You know, you've got your pineal gland that's sending signals to your thyroid to produce thyroid stimulating hormone. And so we want to worry about things being too low and hormones being too high, and making sure that your T4 inactive thyroid hormone is converting into T3, then swimming in the blood as T3, swimming, and then it gets into the cells, it gets to the receptor, and it gets into the cells, and you're fine. So what we want are normal ranges. But even if you do a T4, a free T4, a free T3, if you check your TPO antibodies, if you check your TSH, if you check all this stuff and it comes back normal, but you still have those symptoms, which a lot of you guys do, then don't trust the test. And I still think you have a thyroid issue. You guys aren't getting enough iodine, selenium, zinc. Your adrenals are fracked up in your guts. Ridiculous. Donkey bootyless. So, you really, I mean, yes, get your blood values checked, but do a full thyroid panel. Don't rely on a TSH, because that can be subjective. It can come back normal and within range, but your free T3 is not getting into the cells, which is very hard for doctors to understand how these hormones are actually being used within the cell. And so your blood values look fine, what's swimming around in their blood, but we don't know what's actually going on in the cell, if the body's actually uptaking these hormones to regulate our metabolism and our temperature. Essentially, when you're stressed, this stuff gets all wonky. The body just turns it off. So I essentially say to people, get off of caffeine. They're like, what's that wrong about caffeine? Caffeine's been proven to be an antioxidant, it's beneficial. I'm like, really? Then why do I got energy all day long? Why at next year I'll be 50, why at this age am I just getting more Ripticon, more bubbly, more fit? I went and I got rid of all my supplements except for subdermal magnesium. I get tired of the supplements, super tired of them, and I just wanted to see how my body would respond if I got my ass to bed, if I drank enough freaking water, if I got my electrolytes in, if I ate high quality foods, and if I freaking took a breath every once in a while from the diaphragm, and exercise, and just took care of my mind, right? Because your mind is a reflection of your body. And so when I have done that, as you guys can see in the videos, I just keep getting more fit and more fit as time goes on, right? So my legs keep getting more fit, my glutes are growing, my back is growing, everything is, but beyond muscles and whatnot, skin is a big indication of your health, right? It's not just how many muscles you have. And as you guys can see, I'm on nothing, I'm not vascular at all, I'm not dry, I'm not on any, as you guys can see, my body doesn't have that dry effect, like the abs aren't completely cut out because I still have a layer of fat. Obviously, I'm not holding on to a lot of water because carbs, for every 1 gram of a carb, your body holds on to 2.8 grams of water. That's all out of me. So what you see is a nice subdermal, subcutaneous fat within the skin that keeps me young and keeps my collagen from going bye-bye. Now, I'm digressing because if you have all these great blood values, technology, if I have all these great blood values, but I still have those damn symptoms, then you have to look at your adrenal health. You guys are super cortisol driven, high cortisol, or you have low cortisol, or your cortisol's in the wrong rhythm. People don't understand every single thing matters. And y'all, we're in the matrix. People have these, I'll do 88%, but I won't do 12. Well, what if you have to do 100% to get a response, a full response? So the warning is, don't just satisfy with the conventional wisdom of blood values. Pay attention to your body. Now, how are we going to do keto if you do think that you have a thyroid issue? I mean, do you go on thyroxine? Do you go on Synthroid, like all these people? Women who have polycystic ovarian syndrome, they're the worst. They tend to have thyroid, adrenal, reproductive issues, and they just keep, and the gut issues, and it just goes in, and blood sugar, diabetic, and they keep going in this loop, right? A lot of you guys are developing more and more thyroid issues that you wouldn't even think about. A lot of bodybuilders develop thyroid issues because they develop insulin resistance because of all this crazy carb loading, then depleting, then loading, then depleting, not enough rest, and just super catabolic. So if you guys are out there trying to do a ketogenic protocol and you know you've got thyroid, or you think you might, or if your hair is shedding, a lot of people do keto. A lot of these women do keto and the menstrual cycle gets really heavy, or it lasts 3 weeks instead of a week. A lot of women, their menstrual cycle might go away. Now, if you're going to do a ketogenic protocol, stop trying to keto adapt on coconut oil. That's when you have reproductive issues, y'all. You need that cholesterol. I know, you do. So make sure you get your 200 grams of fat, and at least 50% of that 200 grams be from animal fat. Done. Period. Another thing is, so the thing that I am so worried about is people doing a ketogenic protocol. They're like, I do 120 grams of fat a day, but my hair's falling out. It's like, okay, you're stressed. You're not getting enough REM state sleep cycles. You're battling with candida, like hardcore candida. You're stressed at your job. You've got hardcore adrenal issues. And then, which I remember, your adrenals are connected to your thyroid. So even if you do a standard TSH test and it comes back normal, and all of a sudden you do keto and your hair's falling out, that's because you guys are still doing keto like, you know, you're a 76%er. No, you got to do this stuff 100%. Stop wasting your time and posting BS on the internet for some of you going before, after. You guys lost a lot of water and muscle. Keto adapting and getting to this level of fitness is not overnight. Not going to happen, especially for you fitness competitors. Don't try to use ketogenesis to do to drop body fat and put yourself 6 weeks out. You have to give yourself a year to try to keto adapt, and then you can manipulate your macros to get lean. And yes, I can drop my body fat percent within a week, and drop my body fat percent by manipulating my macronutrients without being catabolic in a short time. So how you do things is get your fat up, get to sleep, get some nice REM state cycles, magnesium at night, potentially chamomile if you don't have a problem with nightshades, which thyroid people tend to have those problems. Pay attention to the food you're eating. Please don't do salads if you think you might have a thyroid issue. The body doesn't like goitrogenic foods. It doesn't like the greens and the kale and all this. Cook your veggies, semi-cook them, keep a little bit of the prebiotic fiber in. You want to stay with your fattier meats. Don't do tuna and lean meats when you're trying to keto adapt. You guys have to get your stress down. Stop trying to failure. You actually have to ramp down your workout quite much in the beginning. Just check for histamine issues. Check your reproductive issues. Stop sleeping in until 8, 9, 10, 11 if you don't have a night shift job. Try to get back on a circadian cycle. Turn off your technology 30 minutes before bed, because that light, right? That light from lamps tells the brain that it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon when it's 10 o'clock at night, and you got a thyroid issue, and then you do keto and you're not adapted yet. Remember, you have to adapt first. My wavy finger. Y'all got to adapt first. You can't just throw in the macros and it's 85, 15, 5 and stop eating 1,200 calories a day and thinking, or doing a fat fast and thinking you're going to adapt. And stop intermittent fasting, because when you have adrenal issues and you don't eat and you're not in ketosis, which every moron that's like, man, it works for me, bro. And I'm like, okay, so what about the person with hypothyroidism or Hashimoto's, with full-on adrenal fatigue, almost having Addison's? You don't fast, ever. Doing a ketogenic protocol is about eating high fat. If you guys want to learn more, because I'm about almost out of time, go to stephanieperson.com. Stephanie the Business Person on my Facebook fan page. Steph the Business on my Periscope. Stephanie Ketogenic on my Instagram-y. And I do consultations and have downloadable diets that cater to people who've got autoimmune. So, peace out. I'm going to do another video because it's time to talk about these damn supplements. And I'm out. Peace.